dangling participle or something. But before I get back to that China story, I was going to say this real quick because it kind of came to me. I was thinking about when I was really young, like 5, 6, 8, stuff like that. And I go down to my grandparents in outside of Weatherford, Texas, and lived on Mineral Wells Highway. And they rented a place, a house. I mean, it was not, I don't know. It was a beautiful house. I loved it. A beautiful house, but it wasn't a great house, right? I mean, it's just, they rented it from some people had a really nice house, like, I don't know, 500 yards up the road or something. And man, I spent so much time there. I had so many my granddad, who died a long time ago, would make me fried egg sandwiches, and we'd have Christmas there, with like cinnamon bread and stuff like that. And I'd eat spaghetti on Sunday nights when we went down there to stay for a while or whatever, and eating spaghetti, watching Disney Sunday night movies, and past the television you could see out across Mineral Wells Highway to this giant field that had, I don't know, like 100 head of cattle or something. So, I mean, if you turn the volume down while you're watching Disney, the Magic Kingdom Sunday movie, you could hear the cows mooing, cawing, crowing. I don't know what the fuck. But anyway, they lived next door to this family, and I can't remember their last name. The only thing I know about the family that I remember now is the man's first name, which was Roman, and he and his wife. I don't even know if any of my family members would know his wife's name. They're dropping like flies. But they were Holocaust survivors, and I don't know if they rented. I don't know if it was their own home. I assume they rented from the same people who owned the property, like literally next to their dwelling. And I've never met a Holocaust survivor. I mean, well, I did. I met them, but never since then. If I did, I didn't know it. And I mean, at 5 years old or whatever, I'm not going to know what the Holocaust is, am I? Right? So, but it was just weird. Their house was all white and cement, and my grandparents' house was all white, but wooden slats, like with a crawl space underneath. But Roman's house, which was not 30 yards away, was kind of sunken. You walked up to the house. I mean, I'm remembering this from when I was, 6 years old or whatever. But you'd walk up to Roman's house, and you would step down into their dwelling. I don't know why I'm calling it a dwelling. It's just a house, just like any other house. And it had this big open living room and kitchen, and then back in the back there was like a small little like sewing room or something, and bedrooms. And the only reason I know this, they invited me over. They had like grandkids or something. I don't know. I wasn't friends with any of them. I'll tell you what, that's another story. That was a different family. I mean, it's nothing nefarious. I accidentally hit this girl in the eye with a stick, but I'm sure she's all right. I mean, the other eye. But so it was just weird, and the only reason I mention this is just the atmosphere of that house, because like my grandparents, they didn't have AC. They didn't even have a window unit. No way. And this house didn't either. But I feel like my grandparents' house being elevated had slightly maybe more wind exposure. I didn't think this at the time, but thinking back, that might be. And it was just always so still in that home, and the sunlight would come in, but the windows were kind of sunken, and the windows had, I don't know what, like dents. Like they were, this is stupid, I remember this, but they were cream colored or, off white or whatever, but they were really dense curtains. So the sunlight that was getting into that main room was being filtered by a lot of cotton or polyester. I don't know. I don't remember feeling the curtains. But the only thing is, thinking back, it was so nice to have met those people. And Roman and his wife was just such a, I started to say squirrely. She wasn't squirrely. I don't know anything about squirrely. But she was a very short lady and portly and had a face that looked like she might be in a medieval movie. But they were always very nice to me, and I'm sure they were very nice to my grandparents and parents when we visited. And I looked it up a couple of years ago. I tried to look up that house that my grandparents lived at and the Holocaust survivors' house next door, and even the those rich people. They really did. I mean, they really did, like rich people up the road. Like you expect to have to like take them a check and then run from the Dobermans or something. I don't know. I don't know anything about them as humans. I'm sure they were fine. I don't know if they were fine. But I don't have anything to say about it. But I looked up those houses, and the closest thing I could find to the house that the Holocaust survivors and their grandchildren lived in, on like Google Maps or whatever, the closest thing I find is now there's like a gun range, right? And I don't remember, it had some ridiculous name like, Freedom Rules Gun Range, or I don't know, we're the KKK, I don't know what the fuck. And I just thought, man, I had so many good times out there with the windmill and the koi pond. It wasn't really a koi pond, but it was a goldfish or something. And that sunken living room, and with Roman and his wife, and that was the first time I learned to appreciate the Holocaust. Probably the first time I learned about the Holocaust. I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate the Holocaust, but to me, it's kind of sad that now that whole strip has been eliminated, and the gun range is probably out of business. It's probably 5 years since I looked that up. But anyway, I'll get back to my. I'm not sure if I'm going to get back to my dog bite story or my Chinese lady story, but I just want to say that